Hello, good afternoon, class. So, welcome back to our channel. No channel, ha? Okay, so today we'll discuss about yung second problem. Okay, basically this is regarding our topic, um, stockholders equity section. Okay, so natapos na natin i-discuss lahat ng dapat nyo malaman pagdating sa stockholders equity. And today, let's try to analyze, okay, yung pinaka mga compositions ng ating stockholders equity. Okay, yung pinaka basic lang, of course. So we have here, guys, yung problem natin. Problem number 2. So we'll have to identify yung mga composition, okay, yung mga elements ng ating stockholders equity. So let's take a look at Vincenzo Incorporated. Okay, so we have the trial balance. Okay, as of December 31, 2023, and listed below, guys, yung mga accounts. Okay, ni Vincenzo. And aside from that, so we have yung requirements. Okay, for this particular problem. Okay, so basically, mga information, okay, na dapat malaman nyo, okay, for our stockholders equity. Okay, before natin siya sagutan, so let's take a good look, guys, yung simple presentation natin, okay, ng stockholders equity section ng isang corporation. Of course, when we're preparing a report, guys, so we have here, as you all know, yung pinaka-header natin, okay? So, number 1 is actually the name of the corporation, of course. And line number 2 will be the name of the report. Okay, so this is gonna be for stockholders equity, and line number 3 will be your date. Okay, so this is the as of date. Okay, for the stockholders equity section. Yung assets and liabilities, hindi na natin siya itatackle as of today kasi natakal na natin siya previously. Okay, sa as a basic accounting part 1. And besides, it's gonna be the same, okay? Regardless of what type ng business organization meron ng isang negosyo, okay? So assets and liabilities will be the same. So ang naiba lang talaga is yung section, okay? Capital section or the equity section, okay? Pagdating sa corporation. So we have here, guys, yung contributed capital section or yung tinatawag natin na paid in capital. Nahahati yan sa dalawa. So we have yung legal capital and yung additional paid-in capital. So, pag sinabi natin legal capital, guys, this is yung capital stocks natin. Okay? Capital stock is just a generic term, pero depende sa class of stocks meron ng isang corporation. So, it can be ordinary, or meron din silang preferred, or meron din silang both. Okay? Ordinary and preferred. Okay? So, nakapaloob yan sa legal capital up to its par value. Okay? Kapag with the par value. Now, kapag non-par naman, no par value, pero given ang stated value, then up to its stated value, okay, ang pagre-record natin, okay, itong capital stock accounts. And kapag wala namang stated value na given, wala ring par value, so it's gonna be the full amount of consideration received, okay, kapag no par and no stated value. Now, same goes for subscribed. Nire-record rin natin to in terms of par, kung merong par. Stated value, if it's a no par with stated value. And kapag no par, no stated value, it's the full amount of consideration. Okay? Na dapat natin ma-receive. Okay, so dyan natin siya nire-record sa mga accounts na yan. And take note, guys, it can be ordinary or subscribed, preferred pa rin. Okay? Now, additional paid and capital, this is the excess above excess of above par value, di ba? Yung tinatawag natin na in excess. Okay? So, share premium. So, pwede rin natin siyang makonsider as ang tawag dito, in excess of stated value kapag hindi given yung par value, di ba? And of course, kapag no par, no stated value, so we don't have that account, okay, for additional paid-in capital because lahat ng amount is babagsak sa legal capital. Alright, so take a look yung mga accounts na yan. So we have yung share premium, ordinary, or preferred, di ba? As we discussed, depende sa classes of stocks. And then, meron din tayo diniscuss na share premium with regard to treasury stocks transactions. Okay? It can be related sa reissuance ng treasury shares after the acquisition or eventual retirement, okay, of treasury stocks. Okay, so TS stands for treasury stocks. Okay, shortcut ko na lang. Or treasury shares. And of course, donated capital, as discussed, once we have received donations from, let's say, shareholders, di ba? So we recognize that as part of our additional paid-in capital. Okay, so that's donated capital. Now, when you add both legal capital and additional paid-in capital, so the total of these two will comprise your contributed capital or paid-in capital. Okay, and stockholders equity section does not end with the contributed capital section. So we also have yung accumulated profits or earnings ng isang corporation. Okay, yung tinatawag nating retained earnings. So, ang retained earnings naman guys, nakahati yan sa dalawa. Okay, sabi natin we have yung unrestricted or unappropriated and yung restricted or appropriated. Okay, bakit na nga ba natin nire-restrict? There are so many reasons. Okay, merong legal, meron lang voluntary reasons, di ba? So, it depends sa corporation. Okay, legal, usually kapag nag-acquire tayo ng treasury stocks, so we have to appropriate a portion, okay, of our retained earnings equal dun sa treasury stocks na in-acquire natin, okay, as required by Securities and Exchange Commission. Okay, so ganon. And also, other reasons, let's say we are proposing yung tawag dito, plant expansion, okay, or additional investments like additional purchase of equipment, okay, to expand sales, di ba? Or productions, ganon. So may mga ganong requirements, okay, or restrictions na may impose, okay, pagdating sa retained earnings natin. Now, the main purpose of restricting retained earnings, guys, is for it not to be declared, okay? Hindi siya mapasama dun sa pagde-declare natin ng dividends, okay? So, instead of may pamahagi siya, di ba? So, maiwasan yun, okay, by restricting it, okay? Ina-allocate natin siya separately into a separate account para hindi siya magalaw. So, kumbaga ganun. Nonetheless, both the unrestricted and restricted composed your retained earnings, okay? Your total retained earnings. And of course, kapag inad nyo to, lahat ito guys will have credit normal balances, di ba? Sabi natin, lahat ng account titles na yan may credit normal balances. Okay, and all we also have yung contra equity natin na tinatawag. Okay, so yung treasury shares na inacquired natin at cost, kailangan nating ibawas yan, okay, for us to arrive to the total stockholders equity. And aside from treasury shares at cost, meron din tayo tinatawag yung mga non-current subscription receivables. For subscriptions, guys, if it's collectible within a year, so we normally categorize that as part of our current assets, okay? But if it's not collectible within 1 year, so it's collectible beyond, okay, like more than a year. So therefore, we consider that as a contra equity, okay? So kasama siya si binabawas if it's non-current, okay? All in all, guys, you total, you get the sum of these, and then deduct all the contra equity accounts, and you'll get your total stockholders equity. Okay, I hope that's clear. Okay, now going back to the problem class. So we have here Vincenzo Incorporated once again, and we have the requirement. So if you'll notice, 1 up to 10, so it's requiring the total. So I believe it's requiring the amount itself, okay? So I have already made the first video about this, but na-overlook ko yung ganong requirements, okay? So total, so it's different from the number of shares. Total refers to the amount, while the number of shares refers to the shares itself. Okay, so isa-isahin natin. Let's try to identify, okay, these terminologies, and let's see how much have you learned, okay, based dun sa mga na-discuss din natin, okay, pagdating sa corporation. So una dyan, the requirement is total authorized ordinary shares. Authorized, so given yung ordinary shares, di ba, at 270,000, but I believe that amount refers to the issued one. Pero ang tinatanong sa problem guys is magkano yung kabuang total authorized ordinary shares. So it's asking for the amount. Although given naman yung number of shares na authorized, given din yung par value, so I think we can go ahead and compute. Okay, so if it's gonna be the total authorized ordinary shares, so we simply multiply yung 20,000 number of shares by the par value. Okay, so that means it's gonna be worth 300,000 pesos. And again, guys, it's asking for the total, so we are computing for the amount. Okay, so that's your total authorized ordinary shares. Now, indicate ko na nga lang din dito kung paano siya na-compute, okay? Para in case na balikan nyo to for your review, so you can always determine how we arrived, okay, at that particular figure. So 20,000 multiplied by yung par value, okay, which is 15 pesos. Okay, so there you go. Next is number 2, unissued ordinary shares. If you will notice, guys, out of those authorized shares, we have yung number of shares issued. And of course, yung kabaliktaran ng na-issue natin is the non-issued. Okay, so if we have 20,000 ordinary shares, multiply, or actually less natin yung issued, then we will get yung unissued portion, di ba? Unissued, 20,000 minus natin yung 18,000 na issued, and then we multiply this by the par value, so we'll get yung total unissued ordinary shares. So that's technically 2,000, diba? Multiply natin sa par value, which is 15, so we got 30,000 pesos. Okay, so again, hindi ko na in-include, guys, yung peso sign, okay, but it's understood that it's in peso. Okay, so since we're in the Philippine setting, so that's our answer for number 2. What about for number 3? Total issued ordinary shares. Given na siya sa problem. Okay, so we have 270,000 pesos. Okay, so that's how it is. Total subscribed ordinary shares. It looks like it's given na rin. Okay, so we have, ito na yung value niya. Nire-record din siya at par, guys. Remember, so subscribed ordinary shares is also recorded at par. Or kung wala mang par, same rin. Kung stated value ang given, or kung wala, edi yung full amount. Okay? So, walang distinction between legal versus additional paid-in capital. Kapag ka, no stipulated value. So, in this case, guys, given naman siya, so we have yung amount, okay? 27,000 pesos. That's your total subscribed ordinary shares. Next natin is number 5. It's asking for the total stockholders equity. Okay, so as discussed, so ito medyo uh, kailangan natin mag-compute. Okay, maraming elemento in order for us to arrive at the total stockholders equity. But before that, skip muna natin to. Let's proceed with number 6. Okay, so isa-isahin natin siya. Okay, bago natin sagutan yung number 5. So, total legal capital muna tayo. So, sabi natin sa legal capital, this is the capital stock at par or at stated value or the full amount, okay, in case of no stated value, no par. Now, it also includes yung subscribe natin, okay? So, going back dito sa problem, ang capital stock natin, which is composed of only one class of stock, which is ordinary shares, is amounting 270,000 pesos, di ba? That's 270,000 plus ano pa? Subscription receivable, so sabi dyan, collectible daw siya within 1 year. So, ano yung sinabi natin kanina? If it's collectible within 1 year, so that will form part of our current assets. So, ang hinihingi is legal capital, so this is not included. Okay, yung 17,000. What about yung subscribed ordinary shares? So, yes, definitely, that is included, guys. Okay, so nasa definition yan ng legal capital. That's 27,000. Meron pa ba? Ang next na binigay is retained earnings, so it's not included. And then, of course, yung share premium and donated capital, hindi rin yan included, class. Okay? Because that will form part of your additional paid-in capital. So, we got our answers na. So, 270,000 plus 27, so we'll have 297,000. Okay, so that will be our answer for number 6. Okay, so naka-bold letter siya, so i-mark na natin siya, okay, so that we can easily compute later on yung stockholders equity. Now, what about number 7? Tuloy-tuloy tayo, additional paid-in capital. So, sabi natin, retained earnings, hindi na siya kasama, okay, di ba? Accumulated profits, hindi siya part ng contributed capital. However, ang next is, we have your share premium and your donated capital. So, I think that's the answer, okay, to our problem or requirement number 7. So, this is 95,000 plus 75,000. Okay, so wala nang iba kasi treasury shares na yung last na binigay. So 95 plus 20, 95 plus 75, so you'll have 170,000. Okay, so that will be your total additional paid-in capital. Contributed capital naman yung hinihingi sa number 8. And remember guys, contributed capital or your paid-in capital, so combination siya ng legal capital and your additional paid-in capital. So we simply get the sum. Okay, so it will be 467,000. Okay, so paano nakuha yan? So your 297,000 plus your 170,000. So that's it. So we have your total contributed capital number 8. Now, number 9, sabi dyan, total retained earnings that can possibly be declared as dividends. Okay, remember guys, ang nire-refer nito is yung free from any legal restrictions, okay, or any other form of restrictions. Ika nga. So, basically, it's referring to the unrestricted or the unappropriated portion of your retained earnings. Okay, so yun lang yung pwede nating i-declare as dividends, okay, or ipamahagi as dividendo. So, the answer sa number 9 is 175,000 only, okay? So, we do not include yung restricted part ng retained earnings. So, that's the answer for number 9. Number 10, sabi dyan, it's the total retained earnings of Gray. Sabi natin kanina, so it's the total, di ba? Between restricted and unrestricted. So, we just get the sum, okay, of these two figures, 175,000 plus 25,000, okay? 175 plus 25,000. And we get 200,000. Yeah, 200,000. So that will be your total retained earnings. Okay, next is, hindi na total yung hinihingi. So it's no longer referring to the amount, but instead, it's referring na sa the number of shares issued. So number of shares issued for number 11, given naman na, di ba? Na disclosed na, di ba? Ano na, nakabuyang-yang na, given as a problem. So we have 18,000, okay, for the issued number of shares. So that's the answer. This one guys, indicate natin yung shares. Baka ma-confuse kayo between yung peso sign, yung peso which is the total amount versus yung sa number of shares. So, lagyan natin 18,000 shares. Okay, what about number of shares subscribed? So, subscribed ordinary shares given is 27,000. Okay, note. However, hindi given kung ilang number of shares yan. Pero alam natin class na ang pagre-record natin sa subscribed account, especially kapag given ng par value, if it's a par value stock, we just simply need to divide yung amount versus the amount in par para makuha natin yung number of shares. So, in this requirement, so we'll get 27,000 and we'll have to divide it by its par, okay? 15 pesos. So, ilan yan? So, ang answer natin dito is 1,800 shares. So, yan. Again, paano natin siya nakuha? So, yung amount which is given, subscribed ordinary shares, ang sabi natin, nire-record yan at par, di ba? At par kapag given yung par value or at stated value kapag stated value. Or kapag ka wala man, edi yung full amount, di ba? Kapag no par, no stated value. Pero in this scenario class, since given yung par ng stocks, so we simply divide it dun sa par value, okay? In order to get yung number of shares. So we have 1,800 for number 12. And number of treasury shares naman, given na rin, di ba? Nasa problem na rin. Ito siya, oh. Given yung amount and at cost. Ang hindi lang given dito guys is yung kung magkano yung cost na binili natin. Okay, yung pagkakabili natin dito sa shares. Pero since we know for a fact na ang treasury shares is always recorded at cost since that's the preferred method, edi we just divide yung 25,000 dun sa number of shares in order to get yung cost. Okay? Pero ang nire-require lang naman ng problem is the number of shares. So we just simply have it as 1,000. Okay? No need for additional computation. So that's 1,000 shares, okay, for the number of treasury shares. And lastly, guys, yung number of outstanding shares natin as discussed previously, di ba? Kung given ng issued shares nyo, 18,000, and kapag may treasury shares, we have to deduct it in order to get yung outstanding shares. Outstanding shares is defined kasi yung shares na nasa possession, guys, okay, ng stockholders natin. Okay, so that's 18,000 shares minus natin yung treasury shares. So we'll have 17,000 shares, okay, as your outstanding shares. Okay, so that will be the answers, okay, for this problem. But wait, so na-skip natin yung number 5 kanina, di ba? So balikan na natin siya since na-identify na natin some of the important elements in determining yung total stockholders equity. So sabi natin, so total stockholders equity natin is the sum, okay, of your contributed capital, your retained earnings, less your contra equity accounts. Okay, so balikan natin. So we have yung legal capital nyo. We have din yung additional paid-in capital or your contributed capital. We also have your total retained earnings, itong tatlong figure na to. So this is already 667,000, di ba? 667,000. Is that going to be your answer? The answer is no because we still have your contra equity account. So, ang contra equity account natin in this particular problem is just your treasury shares. Okay? So, we don't include yung subscription receivables kasi current naman siya. Okay? Only we deal with contra equity if it's non-current. Okay? So, we deduct 667 minus 25,000 for your treasury shares. So, we'll get 642,000. Okay? So, that will be your total stockholders equity. So, paano natin kinumpute yan? So, 297,000 plus your 170,000 plus your total retained earnings and you deduct yung contra equity which is 25,000. Okay, there you go. So that will be our answer for number 5. Okay, I hope you learned something from this problem and okay, until next time. Thank you so much.